Hey, welcome to Countdown to Outbound. I'm Mark Hunter. I've got my cup of coffee. Yeah, there it is right there. And hey, we have in the studio this morning, we have Shari Levitin. She's going to be joining us in just a bit. But let me tell you something. What is Outbound? It's the best event you can ever possibly imagine, June 15th through the 18th. But hey, let's roll the video. Let's get Shari in here. We're going to talk about what's happening in sales and why some people are just simply more successful than others. Let's roll the video. Shari, welcome to Countdown to Outbound.
Welcome. Hi, Mark.
In what foreign country are we today?
Well, I started in Antarctica on my trek to Outbound. I went through Chile. I've gone through South America. Actually, now I'm in the mountains of Peru. It's a nice day out here. I've got a long way to go to get to Outbound, though. The good news is I've got some good reading with me. So you got to have a good mindset, when you're trekking and you're trying to reach your goal and get to the pinnacle. So I got this great book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's really getting my mindset right.
Well, hey, that's pretty good. And I noticed that you actually read another book yesterday. I mean, A Mind for Sales. That's a great book. But you also read that book by Ron Carr, because I noticed you posted a review on Amazon. So it's neat that Amazon works. Of course, it's going to work in South America, right? Because
oh yes. Oh my gosh, the animals, they're everywhere. Do you hear all of the noise there? The animals.
Yes. And I won't even ask what type of animals they are, because I'm not up on my South American whatever.
It's an Amazonian dog. Bark.
Oh, okay. An Amazonian dog. Got it. Okay.
There's the Amazonian dog.
Hey, what's happening in sales? And something I want to call you out for, because you are such a contagious, passionate person when it comes to sales. I mean, you are passionate about helping people. You are passionate about selling. You have a contagious personality. What is it? What can people pick up from you to use in their own life?
Well, I think that it's really about being who you are. That's who I am. I've always been enthusiastic and exuberant, sometimes to a fault. My teachers used to tell me in class when they said lacks self-control. Really, the most important thing about sales is the authenticity. It's about being who you are. Introverts, as you know, can do quite well in sales. The important thing is, particularly on video, and we all need to be on video today, that is the competitive edge. And I'll be talking about that during my talk. But I think it's really just getting clear with who you are and not being afraid to be different. We don't have to be better today always, but we do have to be different to break through the noise. People are overloaded with information, with texts, their inboxes are full, and we really need to stand out above the crowd. And the way you do that is by being who you are. And so that would be my most important message in order to make it in sales today.
Okay, so be who you are, be different. But is there a risk of being too different?
Well, I suppose so. There's always a balance, right? In anything that we do, we've got to have that balance. But I do think that particularly when it comes to video, and that's, how I've been communicating with my audience, is that you have that authenticity and that you don't have to be in front of the proverbial bookshelf. You can be in South America. You can be riding a horse. You can be doing whatever you want. But there's many things to being a successful seller. One of the big things today, Mark, that I'm seeing out there is, consumer preferences have changed. I got an opportunity to listen to Michael Dell's keynote address. This is an interesting statistic. Consumer spending during the pandemic, this shouldn't be a surprise, increased by 25% during the pandemic. Now, with that, we had a huge increase in consumer demand, right, for service, speed, and security. Customers want more. The B2C buying experience is now influencing the B2B expectations. And what that means as sellers is we've got to be quicker. We've got to really engage in omni-channel sales and marketing. We have to go to where the customer is. It's not just virtual versus face-to-face anymore. It's how do I engage in this new hybrid environment and be most effective? We're going to be talking a lot about that. My talk is called The Adaptive Seller. What are the 4 things we need to do to adapt to this new buyer's journey, this new
Yeah.
reality? And I'm excited by it, Mark.
Well,
I am really excited by this new sort of hybrid idea of selling.
yeah. You hit on something. 3 S's: service,
The 3 S's.
speed, and security.
Yes, sir.
And you're right. It starts out in B2C, but it morphs itself into B2B and the demands, because I'm seeing the decision-making process is actually becoming shorter and shorter. But people
Yeah.
are focusing much more on their higher priorities. I mean, if it's not their number 1 or number 2 priority, they're not doing anything with it. But they want that answer now. They want that solution
Well,
now.
and I always say our priority isn't their priority until we make it so. So it may be 20 down on their priority list, but as sellers, we've got to help them experience the pain of not changing. And today, obviously, it's the only the people that adapted and pivoted that had great 2020s. And a lot of the companies we're working with, they had their best years yet. But why? Because they were able to align sales and marketing and service quickly. They were able to pivot and they were able to move the needle. And it's the same for sellers. I still find a lot of sellers stuck in this mentality of, oh, virtual smirtual, it'll go away. It's not here to stay. Or, I loved, I don't know who posted it, that, and maybe it was you, that it's not, or maybe it was Anthony who said, it's not outbound or inbound, it's all bound. And really, that's the adaptation, is we need to know how to engage with our customers in the most powerful and economic way. But you're right. I see some major shifts. Access is much easier today, particularly in a virtual environment. We have access to more decision makers. But there are things that are more difficult, like building trust. How do we do that? How do I build trust with you across the digital divide? It's more difficult.
Well, that brings up an interesting thing, and I contend there is no longer a digital divide. I think that divide is gone. It's digital. And you said something. We have to be on every channel. We have to be because our favorite communication method is not the customer's favorite communication method.
Yeah.
And we have to be there for them. Now, here's something I want to get to, because the biggest challenge B2B salespeople face is the customer not making any decision at all. They just don't make a decision.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that change because of this whole pandemic?
I'm seeing it change when salespeople are educated. And I'll share with you another statistic. This is by Gartner, and I'll be addressing this as well. It used to be, when you and I started selling, Mark, that really we didn't have online, right? I know I'm dating myself, but we didn't have online. And my job was to build trust and rapport with the customer. We were the purveyors of information. Well, today, customers have all of the information they need, right? They can get anything that they want online. The problem, according to Gartner, isn't that they lack for information. It's that they have too much information. And in many instances, it's conflicting information. And you said it, people would rather make no decision than make the wrong decision. So they end up sticking to the status quo. But here's the thing, is sellers, it's not so much that the customer today needs to have confidence in us. Of course they do. They always have. They need to have confidence in themselves and their own ability to make a decision. So as sellers today, our job is to increase customer confidence in their own ability to make a decision. How do we do that? We help them. It's not only our asking them questions, it's helping them to think of questions they didn't even know to ask. It's what I call being a helping brand.
I love what you say, because what I always say is, as a salesperson, I want to ask you a question that you don't have the answer to, and I don't have the answer to, but that forces a better conversation.
Yes.
Out of that, we come up with better solutions. And I think that raises the confidence on both sides, because you're right. The reason the customer makes no decision is because they're not confident, because they're overwhelmed with so much information.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things I'm going to be sharing is what I call the sense-making formula. There's 3 selling behaviors today, and only one is effective. but 80 to 90% of sellers engage in the first two.
You're going to tip your hat and tell us that secret sauce right now?
Mark, I am trekking thousands of miles to get to Outbound. I think a lot of the people that are going to Outbound merely need to get on an airplane, get their vaccination, and come to Outbound. They're going to have to come to see it. And to see you and Anthony and Jeb and everybody else that's going to be speaking. This is, I get the chills. This is like the All-Stars. Like, imagine getting the best football and baseball players of all time in one arena. I mean, this is what we're doing here. I don't know if there'll ever be another event like this, ever.
Well, there will be next year. Come on, in 2022.
I don't know. I don't know. This is going to, people are so excited to see humans right now. Yeah. We are so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, the timing of Outbound. And I admit, when we were looking at the date, I was a little bit concerned that I thought June was a little bit too early. I thought maybe August. But I'll tell you what, Jeb and Anthony pushed forward. They said, no, let's do June. I said, okay, we'll do. And I'm sure glad, because I'll tell you what, I think Outbound is really helping to open up the economy, opening up sales. It's making things happen. And you're right. We got a ton of interest from people, ton of people coming. But hey, I want to jump back to something, because you wrote a book a couple years ago, Heart and Sell. And I do hope you have another book coming out pretty soon. Are you working on another book?
How did you know, Mark?
Seriously, I did not know. I did not know. You and I have not talked in probably, 8, 9, 10 months. It's been a long time since
I've been hanging out with penguins, Mark, and down in Antarctica. I can't wait to see you.
Yes, well, I'm anxious to see you. So good. You do have another book in you. That's good. Because Heart and Sell, I think, really started the conversation. And I love what you talked about at the beginning in terms of authenticity, because I firmly believe authenticity and trust is needed more now than more than ever. It's powerful, but the challenge is, how do you create trust in this digital world?
Well, one of the things that's why the book is called Universal Truths of Selling. They're universal, they're timeless. Now, how we go about doing them has changed, but the basic truths haven't. And one of the basic truths in chapter 5, I talk about trust begins with empathy. Now, that all sounds good, but what I love to do, and actually I did this at Outbound a couple of years ago, is I asked the audience, if you had to choose, we all learned in Sales 101, you need 2 things to make a sale. You need your competency, you need to know your product, but you also need your empathy, you need to know your consumer. And I asked the question, if you had to choose between one and the other, competency, knowing your product, or empathy, knowing your customer, which would you choose? And, it usually goes down around the middle, maybe 60% say empathy, 40% say competency. And the truth is, it's a trick question. Okay. According to Harvard Business Review, empathy and competency are the 2 most important factors to getting a sale, or to persuasion for that matter. But here's the trick. The order matters. Empathy gets you in the door. It's competency, reliability, and integrity that keep you there. So whether we're digital, virtual, or face-to-face, we have to lead with empathy. Sounds simple, but most salespeople don't do it. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you 3 of 10 things right now. Number 1, before you ever get on the phone with a prospect, you better know as much as you can about them. Do your homework. We have the tools today. I still get spammed on LinkedIn. You do too. Hi, I'd like to tell you about my state-of-the-art solution. Book on my Calendly link now. Really? Delete. I get 10 of these a day. So do you. We delete them. We need to personalize. We need to do our homework. I would rather talk to less people and have more personalized, powerful conversations. So that's number 1, is we really need to do our homework. Number 2, you need to think about, Gartner also tells us in the average B2B sale, there's 11 stakeholders. That means I got to convince 11 people, the CIO, the CMO, and the CGO. That's the chief glum officer, the guy who says, it'll never work. Let's not do this. It's a bad idea. I don't know if you remember Gulliver's Travels from being a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That film. But so the second thing about leading with empathy is understanding that what matters to a CTO is different than the VP, even if you're selling B2C. You know, what matters to the husband is different than to the wife. I mean, it just, you know, we really have to think about who are the personas, but not just the personas, the people behind the personas. Who are they? So this whole idea of leading with empathy is really understanding who your audience is and taking the time to build that relationship. And like I said, being a helping brand.
Wow, there were some drop the mic moments there. You talk about the 11 stakeholders, and so spot on, because you could be talking to a mid-level person and they feel they have a problem, but to the CEO, it's an inconvenience. It's no big deal, and you really do
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, there's so much that you've unpacked, and we're going to have to wrap this up here in a second. Hey, people want to attend Outbound June 15th through the 18th for the live portion, virtual June 13th through the 18th. What's your code to save money for people who want to
Shari 100.
Shari 100.
Shari 100.
You got it. And if you don't like Shari, you can use Mark 100, but use Shari 100 to save $100. Because I'll tell you what, it really is going to be I'm anxious to see. I mean, we haven't seen each other. I'm trying to think, was the last time we saw each other at Outbound in 19, or did we see each other? Maybe we ran across each other after that. I know we've talked on the phone, but boy,
yeah, it's been a long time. But I want to say one thing about attending live. There's the trust hormone oxytocin is released only when you're face to face with somebody. Happens through the nasal cavity. Okay, this is true. So the reason we want to be face to face is we can actually build trust and smell each other. I can't wait to smell you, Mark. And I think everybody in the audience, it's subliminal, it's subconscious, but this hormone increases trust and feelings of well-being. So if all you can do is virtual, that's fine. But I encourage everybody, let's see each other, let's hug each other, let's build the trust, let's build community. And no one does it better than Outbound.
I'll tell you what, there are so many drop the mic moments in that. Shari, thank you. Hey, people, everybody, stick around for the after the show. We're going to roll the video and we'll be right back. Hey, that was a kick in the pants. That was fun. That was good. That was good. You were on a roll, man. It has been. I mean, I tell you what, has it been a year since we've talked on the phone?
I don't know, Mark. It's been such a weird year, hasn't it? I don't know about you, but I kind of panicked at first.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, yeah, it really was. If anybody says they didn't panic, they'd be foolish. I mean, because everybody did. It's just how quickly and what did we pivot? I mean, I've been keeping up with you. Of course, I follow you and all your travels on LinkedIn everywhere. But of course, we have the same friends. So I mean, I always hear from various friends. Hey, here's what Shari's up to, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's absolutely cool. But hey, so your new book, when does it come out? I seriously did not know you were working on it.
I literally just realized it hasn't been 2 years, it's been 5. And I'm going to need some coaching from you guys, because I don't know how you do it, how you do all your keynotes. Now we've got all these virtual master classes, run a company. And oh, by the way, I think I'll write a book, because Mark, the truth is and you're a good writer. A lot of these sales guys and gals, they just sort of stick something up. I mean, you're a thoughtful writer.
Wow.
And to me, that is really the greatest talent. It's even a greater talent than speaking. It's more intellectual. I'm meeting with my editor next week. It just hit me that I have to write this. Now's the time. There's too much interesting new content that needs to get out. And I'm just sitting there going, okay, but when? And I'd love your coaching on that, because I mean, I'm already drowning. And then think, as a business owner, okay, I can hire a new person, but it takes me 6 months to train them. It's just, I don't know how you guys do it.
You want my secret sauce? I mean, literally,
Yeah.
You just sit down and you blitz on it. I mean, you blitz on it for 6 or 8 weeks and you get it done. Because I tell you what,
how do you take care of the rest of your business in the meantime?
You just literally say, this is the one thing. This is the one thing I'm working on, period. Everything else comes off the plate.
You're right.
And
You're
that's the only, but you know what? I do that because the prize at the end is worth the sacrifice. I mean, and that's I always talk about this, we don't have a time management problem. We have a priority management. And sometimes what we do is we don't put our priorities on a long enough continuum.
And
And
why do you think the 6 weeks of, like, I'm thinking, okay, I could probably do that in August. August isn't usually as busy as sales kickoff season.
yeah,
But
yeah.
why do you think, if you've got the opportunity to maybe get inside a big new company and do, a course for them or whatever, why do you think a book's more, it just is, isn't it?
Well, I
It
mean,
just,
you do. I mean, no, I mean, as much as I try to set aside time to write a book, I'm still out there pushing. I mean, believe me,
no,
that you have to. But what you do is you just have to say, unless it's generating significant revenue or moving me towards one of my goals. In fact, that's one of the things in fact, I'm kind of thinking about the next book now. My book of mine for sales, I think about 25-year goals. But R&G, if it's not revenue producing or moving me towards my goals, why am I doing it? And that's a hard discussion because we get caught up doing a lot of other weird things. So I don't know, but I'm anxious to see you at Outbound. We are going to have fun. So anyway, hey, we are at our limit. And see, people, this is why you got to stick around for the after the show because there's always good stuff that happens.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, hey, we have been talking with Shari Levitin. And Shari, what's your website?
ShariLevitin.com.
Shari Levitin. Spell. You know what? I'm going to put this up there because now spell your last name for us.
Levitin, Levitin.com.
There you go. Because it's easily misspelled. But I'll tell you what, you want to check her out because she's got great stuff. And she's all over the internet with her vlogs. I love it. So anyway, Shari, great
Thanks,
talking.
Mark. Bye.
Thanks so much. Take care.